Kids will be kids. They're happy one minute and then crying the next. But when celebrity kids have outbursts and tantrums, it sometimes gets caught on camera and becomes everyone's business. The Kardashian-Jenner family is known for its mighty brood. Kourtney Kardashian has 3 kids with her ex, Scott Disick, Penelope, Mason, and Reign. And Reign seems like quite the handful at times. In 2019, several of Kris Jenner's grandchildren joined her on The Ellen Show, plus Kim's kids, Saint, North, and Chicago. Kim's children were thoroughly well-behaved, but little Reign couldn't get enough of the spotlight. The youngster continually interrupted the interview, and his mom's pleas to settle down proved fruitless. Reign then had a temper tantrum, as a lot of kids do, because he wanted candy. Grandma Kris promised to give him some cake if he agreed to settle down, but the little guy demanded to have his candy right there and then. He shouted, "But I need candy," over Kourtney's big announcement that Kim's surrogate had gone into labor. Reign interjected by using a very adult-like phrase, saying, "I'm done with this conversation." It wouldn't be the last time Reign acted sort of bratty on camera. On an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, he demanded a cough drop from his mom, but then proceeded to throw the toy he had been holding. And years after the Ellen incident, he's still causing drama. In 2021, he appeared in his stepsister Alabama Barker's TikTok, where he dropped an F-bomb and began dancing on camera, according to E!
Okay, we're done. We're done.
Then in 2022, he was caught on camera flipping off photographers while eating candy. Also that year, he was photographed having an apparent tantrum at the opening of a restaurant in Los Angeles. The then 7-year-old was assigned with cutting the ribbon, a task that he clearly wasn't too pleased about. He's also not the only Disick child to be caught misbehaving. His sister Penelope once reportedly attacked her nanny. For her part, Mom Kourtney responded to allegations that she's a bad mom, telling Rose Inc., "No one knows my kids better than me. I've got this. I'm good, thanks." Since his parents left the White House, Barron Trump has been keeping a low profile. Throughout his father's presidency, he was relentlessly subjected to cameras and scrutiny over his behavior. And much of the public ire directed at the youngest Trump son stemmed from his apparent entitlement. From the moment he was born, Barron has seemingly been spoiled, given his own floor in his parents' $100 million mansion and a gold stroller courtesy of Ellen DeGeneres. Having been raised opulent, it's inevitable that his privilege would slip up more often than not. In 2016, the then 10-year-old was seen yawning and practically falling asleep during his dad's speech at the Republican National Convention. Barron was first caught fidgeting during the event, picking at his chair and becoming increasingly restless. It wouldn't be the last time he was captured acting entitled. When his dad was being sworn in as president in 2017, Barron was again seen yawning and being brazen in his boredom. His behavior is more than likely due to just being a young child. Then again, perhaps he gets his impertinent persona from his father. Melania told Parenting magazine, "He is independent and opinionated and knows exactly what he wants. Sometimes I call him Little Donald." We can only imagine the baggage that comes with being the daughter of Tom Cruise, so it's no wonder Suri Cruise can be a bit of a handful. The youngster has had full-blown tantrums in public on several occasions. In 2011, Suri was snapped getting upset in a toy store. Even if Suri has a reported $100,000 shoe collection, kids will be kids. Any child would be excited in a toy store. Her mom, Katie Holmes, was seen kneeling by her, perhaps to give the little one an explanation on want versus need. The following year, the then 6-year-old was captured screaming after her mom appeared to take her ice cream away. Likely accustomed to being a mom, Holmes took Suri's behavior in her stride and did not appear to give in to her demands. And it seems that the Dawson's Creek alumna did the right thing.
I know you just saw that, and I can explain.
What I just saw is none of my business.
According to the CDC, the best way to stop a tantrum is to ignore it. It is, however, worth noting that the CDC guidelines are directed at the parents of screaming toddlers, not adults. Suri's fits were seemingly nothing compared to Dad Tom's apparent onset tantrums. Royal kids are born into a special kind of generational privilege than that of new money celebs, so it comes as little surprise when they act brazenly spoiled and entitled. Prince William and Princess Kate's kids appear to be the cheekiest of them all, having been caught on camera acting like, well, royals. In 2019, Middleton attended the King's Cup with her daughter Charlotte. She encouraged her child to wave to the camera, but Charlotte stuck her tongue out before smiling at the photographer. Her mom swiftly ushered her away. Charlotte's younger brother Louis has been caught caught acting out during royal public outings. During the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations in 2022, Louis had a full-on tantrum in public. The little prince did things like covering his ears, screaming during the Trooping of the Color, putting his hand over Middleton's mouth, and pulling a rude face when she attempted to calm him down. Even news anchor Mike Perry remarked that Prince Louis was acting like, quote, a little brat. And many Twitter users suggested that Middleton is a bad mom, some saying that it's sad to see that her kids don't respect her. However, family therapist Caitlin Soule told the New York Post that the young prince's behavior was nothing out of the ordinary for a 4-year-old. She explained, "With children around his age, part of their developmental task is to push boundaries." Pink Floyd frontman David Gilmour is worth a reported $180 million, so it's safe to say that his kids don't worry about student loan repayments. But it didn't stop his adopted eldest son Charlie from siding with university students during a protest, where things went a little too far. In 2010, there was widespread outrage after the UK government announced that annual college tuition fees would rise from £3,375 to £9,000. Student protests swept across the country. While the overwhelming majority of these were peaceful, Charlie ended up giving the demonstrators a bad name when he was photographed swinging from London's Cenotaph, a war memorial honoring those killed in World War II. The then 21-year-old also joined protesters when they began pounding on King Charles and Queen Camilla's car in an act of rebellion against extreme wealth. In a later statement, Gilmour said that he didn't know what the Cenotaph was due to his sheltered life in the countryside. He was sentenced to 16 months in prison but released after just 4 months. Charlie insisted that he joined the protest because he genuinely cared about the plight of students trying to get an education with a limited income. In his book, Featherhood, he expressed remorse over his actions. He wrote, "To think that I did all those things is frightening. What's even more frightening is the fact that the part of me that did them is still in there somewhere resting." Jennifer Lopez often gets hailed as a diva and has been accused of unleashing full-blown tantrums of her own, so it's unsurprising that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. In 2012, her son Max was filmed having a major tantrum in the middle of the street. He kicked and screamed as his mom attempted to calm the distressed child down. The youngster then ran off before a security guard thankfully scooped him up. By all accounts, Max's parents were accustomed to his outbursts. His dad, Mark Anthony, told a funny anecdote about Max's behavior to Jay Leno on The Tonight Show, saying, "He had an accident in the pool. It got into the filtration system and they charged us to clean it. That was expensive. He took a $6,000 dump in the pool." Years later, little Max was still having issues behaving in public. Appearing on the red carpet with his mom and twin sister Emmy at the home premiere in 2015, the then 7-year-old scrunched up his little face and sobbed. His sister looked equally bored but kept her cool as she and mom J-Lo ignored Max's outburst. Emmy admitted to ET that she's gotten used to her brother's behavior. Max's twin hilariously divulged, "He's crazy sometimes. He's very loud, in a good way of course, sometimes. Yeah, so he's a challenge to get along with, 'cause he's my brother."
He always has the TV on and it's always really loud.
Being the son of rowdy Britpop bad boy Liam Gallagher is certainly a lot to live up to, but we think that Gene Gallagher's got it covered. Despite being the son of a multimillionaire rock star, Gene and his pals allegedly decided to steal a $2 alcoholic beverage from a Tesco grocery store in 2019. The incident was captured on CCTV, and Gene was charged with assault and racially abusing staff. He was ultimately not convicted of the alleged offenses, in exchange for agreeing to stay out of trouble in the future. Judge Joanna Greenberg condemned him for what she characterized as entitled behavior and disrespecting workers who were in a markedly less privileged position than himself. The judge told the then 20-year-old, "Your behavior on this occasion when you enter the Tesco store was, in my view, completely out of order. It's hard enough when people running a late-night store encounter entitled young men thinking they can get what they want by misbehaving, and that's what you did." One doesn't have to look very far to see from where Gene cultivated that aforementioned entitled persona. Following the judge's remarks, Dad Liam went on an unhinged Twitter tirade against Greenberg. He wrote, "Judge Judy can kiss my ass," from one entitled to another. In a separate tweet, Gallagher continued, "If you can't steal from your local Tesco's, where can you steal from, eh? This country is over."